Hail Kingdom! Today in Crimson Desert we will craft this insanely overpowered spear that can stun enemies and destroy them with pure lightning power, make ourselves immortal with these insane defense numbers, and finish my insane spear fighting build. But to craft this super rare stuff we will need to go into adventure, ride a bear and face insanely difficult bosses. Because this will give me extra abilities that I can steal from bosses and then use on my enemies to completely demolish them and finally beat Crimson Desert. But I'm Spot and I like to break RPG games. So of course there will be loads of special tactics that helped me to beat 99% of players in terms of progress right now. But it's all started near this initial town. I was wandering around and found little cave. If I want to beat a game and be completely overpowered, I need to find a way how to be immortal, since I discovered that there is no really overpowered weapons in the game, but making yourself immortal and literally taking almost zero damage from every boss, well, it's possible. Okay, so that's a cave with a witch, and there is a little alchemy formula of a parmal pill. I was amazed how easy it is to craft one of those. If you don't know, that's the pill that you can use to basically revive yourself with a little bit of health. All I need is 2 pieces of water and 15 random flowers. So I immediately went back into town and started to buy water from every trader. They got plenty of it. Another place that I like to visit is this meat shop, to get a little bit of everything. Sorry vegans, but meat is a key to immortality in the game. My plan is to use this spot and cook one insanely good meal. It's hefty soup. Yeah, straight and simple. All I need is 1 piece of water, a little bit of protein and a little bit of carbs. Also, I'm roaming around and mining some minerals with my bare fist. Yeah, it's less effective than using a tool, but it's faster and I buy most of minerals anyway. After getting everything I need, I created a little bit of soups. Yeah, look at this beautiful soup. And I got quite a bit of them. And every single one of these meals can heal me for almost full health. That's amazing, but not as amazing as my trip to town, because here I went straight to Cauldron, lighted up this bad boy and created a little bit of pills. Yeah, this pills is just amazing, because now if I fail and die in a combat, I can instantly resurrect myself, so technically I'm officially immortal while others have this resource. And I'm ready for adventure. I used all stones that I gathered to upgrade my equipment a little bit, still just halfway through, but already our defenses is pretty good, especially for this point of the game. By the way, I got all my gear in Act 1. It's pretty basic, but if you're curious where I got everything, you can check video in a pinned comment with the first part. But as you can see, this gear is enough to basically one-shot enemies at this point. Not enough for Spot the King though, that's why I'm getting back to the witch lair to get my next idea how I want to advance the build further to prepare for insane enemies. There's almost no build customization in the game, but there's sockets on the gear, so I can create sockets on all my gear pieces, and now I can embed it with Abyss artifacts. However, I don't have loads of them yet, but coolest part, if you find gear with Abyss artifacts like this Wind Slash, which drops from the first boss of the game, you will be able to install it on any other gear, so now I will use this Wind Slash on my spear, which is pretty cool. But I need to find more Abyss gears for my extra sockets, so I will go straight to the Witchwood now, and then visit this mountain. That's where I encountered guys that drops these Abyss gears. On my way I decided to test this Wind Slash, and that's awesome skill. Look at this area of effect attack, it attacks multiple enemies, and now I can instantly get loads of resources that I will need later to upgrade my gear, like small bones for the rings for example. And when I finally arrived to this hill, I found loads of flowers. Again, I'm getting loads of flowers to replenish my pills, so I can resurrect as much as I wish. But here the most important part is this big flower, or big bush I guess. This guy's dropping some weird stuff that I don't know how to use yet, but we will use it later, spoiler alert, and bunch of small guys which drops Abyss cells. There's fun way to farm them. I can basically die to the last bush and then When I respawn on checkpoint and get back on top, a bunch of them will be respawned, so I can defeat like few of them in one attempt. But it takes so much time, so I decided to go into Haunted Hill territory. Since I saw a bunch of bushes like this near this teleport, but there is none of them right now. I guess teleport is cleared. And this forced me into adventure. Yeah, adventure to see what else can I find in this cool and big game, massive game. I found empty blacksmith shops. And this gave me a bunch of ideas what I need to do next. Basically, even though there's a bunch of villages with some shops where we can definitely buy some stuff, it feels like game is a little bit empty right now. So I guess I need to beat some quests, do some faction quests, and then it will unlock more and more content. Still, I recommend visiting this Kalphead village in Kalphead territory, because there's a bank and right behind the bank there's a goblin who sells nice abyss gear that I found. It's called Piercing Bloom, which gives me extra power to my piercing attack. Don't even bother with the bank, there's nothing to rob here, and that's the location if you're using the story video as a guide. But my plan right now is to go into Sage Peak area, to the corner of the map. Things that we will find there will be amazing. Basically, I found this teleport location, and after activating it, I saw a big cliff nearby. I went straight into it. And it definitely looks like there's nothing in here. Just few small rocks, a little bit of flowers, and some like little puzzle or something like this. Also, I found something new for me, and it was my first potato. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool, but when I pressed the wrong button and attacked this big crab instead of doing slide, oh my goodness, guys, we just found a gold mine. Yeah, all these rocks turns out to be real big crabs, which is insanely powerful, but we can easily defeat them even at my power level right now. So come on, big fella, jump, we await, and now, boom, yeah, he's done. This guy drops loads of iron ore, it will be useful for my upgrades, for armor especially. Also they drop loads of abyss cells, and this is insanely important resource, but I don't know it yet, but it will be important for us later, when we will be upgrading our weapons and armors to full potential and becoming basically immortal. But also, if you look closely on minimap, there is a big pokeball or something like this, and that's of course abyss gears. And there's different ones, they drop inside in most cases, and that's exactly what I'm looking for, since inside will give me critical hit chance, which increase power of my weapon, basically my damage. But I got only one abyss gear right now, so I need a plan. Plan was simple, to just instantly die and then respawn on checkpoint, because there's no consequences from this in the game. After getting back on this hill, most of crops respawned and I can farm again and again and again. So that's what I did for the next couple of minutes, hours, who knows. But when I got bored, I decided to check nearby territory and went straight for Drakesfall Castle. Castle is pretty boring, but turns out these stones is not just ore, it's actually little crops again. Yeah, also these crops drops same abyss gears, they also drop abyss cells, and also they drop some interesting ore as resource, so it's pretty nice to farm them too, and I did it. After leaving few crops alive, so they will be respawned, I guess that's how game works, I found nearby teleport location and went straight into it, so I can teleport here again if I want to farm a little bit more later. On my way I was intercepted by a bunch of bandits, and that's where I tested my weapon. We're fighting against black bears right now, and they are pretty powerful foes. But as you can see, they are basically being destroyed by me right now, even without upgrades on my weapon yet. If you're curious where I got this spear, well, it basically randomly dropped from one of the foes that I found on the map, probably on the top left corner, and this foes wearing yellow and black armors. But honestly, all this farming location and tips and tricks that I will show you right now, you can use basically on any weapon in the game, and you can make it powerful. All weapons are basically the same, so don't worry about what weapon you like, just pick whatever you like and upgrade it. But again, I decided that I want some special, some super secret weapon for this today's video, and that's why we're going into adventure and getting this bear kicked. Yeah, we need to kick his arse, and then we can definitely ride him to strike fear onto our foes. It's hilarious how much cool and funny stuff you can do in this game actually. And this reminded me about my initial idea. While riding the bear, I found these little stairs, and they lead to the secret cave. And guess what? This cave is completely empty. Yeah, I guess right now there's just not enough witches in the game. There should be like multiple of them, but there's no witch over here right now. So I just need to beat a bunch of bosses and complete few acts. To make it easier for me, I went back to our initial witch and inserted all insides into my spear. Guess what? We get super powerful spear with good attack speed and also with insane critical hit chance. Before moving forward into story, I decided to test my new spear on this mini boss in excavation site. And yes, critical strike works, just basic fast attack combination hits him for around 1/10 of his life, which is pretty good. He is pretty annoying though and can definitely inflict some troubles, even to my powerful build right now, but I got loads of soups, so I'm technically immortal and I easily finished this annoying mole. Against basic enemies I'm also unstoppable. I'm using this counter-attack action and it just melts every enemy pretty easily, because it's automatically counter-attack and basically inflicts insane damage. Also, if I need a little bit of distance, I'm using this forward slash, and that's pretty powerful. It's R1 and triangle together. Also, I can kinda charge it, and that's my new skill that I acquired from the goblin in previous village that I showed you, and this gives this forward slash with extra power and it just melts everyone. Other than that, quick attacks for extra speed or power attacks, because they cannot miss, since I upgraded everything in passive tree for basic attacks. And I guess it's time to go into adventure to craft this insanely rare and secret spear, but my character wanted to swim a little bit, as I can guess, so I decided to quickly take a visit on this pirate ship that I was unable to visit last part. I found a boat on a shore and used this boat to infiltrate this ship, destroyed every pirate and also destroyed captain. I found a treasure chest with a pirate hat that shows nearby treasure. Honestly, it's pretty trash hat that never showed me any treasures, at least in my experience, so don't use it or use it only for fashion, at least that's what I can recommend you. Now let's get back to Kuku spear. To craft it, I will need to get some resources from powerful enemies, therefore I decided to continue my way through campaign just a little bit. So, this will be an ultimate test. We're trying to defeat Kerush the Slayer. Yeah, this big monkey actually causing loads of troubles to loads of guys, at least as far as I know based on some Reddit posts. But look at my attacks. Yeah, counter-attack or some fast attacks actually melting this guy. So we need to do like 10 attacks to completely melt him, or just few combinations if we are lucky. He's pretty fast, he's pretty annoying, so yeah, it takes some time, but as you can see you don't need any skills whatsoever to actually defeat him with my current build, because when it crits, well, it crits. We basically melting this stupid monkey. Since he is kinda a brawler, I used counterattacks in most cases, so I'm just doing this action following by some powerful attacks. And the monkey is done. I am in the Act 5 right now, and I played until this exact point, when we need to go into Witchwood. That's where I found a witch's quest sideline, and this actually unlocks a lot more options in a witch shop. Now I can craft my own abyss gear. But also let's not forget, I got some item from this monkey, this Morning Star weapon, and it comes with spirit transfer. I instantly inserted spirit transfer into my spear, so now I kinda get unlimited spirit. Yeah, I can do this attack and I instantly replenish my spirit with this, especially if there's a lot of enemies in front of me. So now I can just spam my super powerful attacks and melt everyone, even if there's thousands of enemies in front of me. And by the way, I'm trying to cleanse Sanctum right now. It's a witch's side questline, and this questline involves fight versus this big dude. He's really powerful, and I tried to kinda learn his attack pattern on the first attempt. Honestly, nothing works. I still try to use my powerful attacks, and that's kinda useless because even with my powerful armor, and I got like 50 armor right now, lots of health, he basically 2 or 3 shots me with his insane and powerful combinations. And yes, if you know how to fight in this game, if you got some skills, you can even no-hit him, take no damage, but I tried to retrieve once more, and it ended horribly again, and again, and again, and again, until I realized when you fight bosses, you just need to do basic attacks. So I block few attacks, then I do some counter-attack or some quick attacks instead of these powerful attacks, because it takes so much time, he blocks half of this powerful attack, and it's just useless idea to do it, because it's so slow against fast bosses. So instead I just did basic rolls, and then quick attacks, quick attacks, quick attacks, and then get away, and then more quick attacks, and he basically melted on the first try when I started to do this basic style of combat. You don't need anything fancy, just quick attacks and that's it. After this guy is defeated, I'm getting his weapon, and also I can extract his skill from the weapon. But first of all I need to complete this puzzle. This puzzle will complete the Sanctum. It's again pretty like annoying with controls we got over here, but it is what it is. We got Kuku Spear blueprint, but where can I craft it? I checked which shop, but which gave me a bunch of blueprints. And these blueprints, by the way, is for obvious gear. One of them for vitality, one of them for defense, so pretty useful stuff. Then I extracted Wand of Darkness from this boss weapon and inserted it in my spear. Now my super powerful attack is even more powerful because it spreads big souls. I'm kinda Reaper right now and it's insanely broken. Still, there is no signs of my Kuku Spear on blacksmith shops or any other shops, so where can we actually craft it? That's the biggest question for me right now, and I thought the answer was to actually beat a little bit of campaign, you know, just few more missions. And actually I can't say how important it is to actually craft Kuku Spear, but defeating this Crow Caller, and that's one of the story bosses, is actually a smart idea. First of all, it's pretty easy with our current power level. And also, after extracting power from his weapon, now I can call crows whenever I use power attack, and power attack never misses, as you can remember. So this power attack, R2 or RT on Xbox, is pretty powerful right now, but most importantly it kinda range attack, so I can defeat range targets, and this come in handy insanely fast. Since now we will try to craft this Kuku Spear and also become even more powerful. Basically, to craft Kuku Spear you need to get back to Grimnir, or Grimnir Kuku shop. I just remembered that he is Grimnir, his Kuku shop, so I went over here and now he actually sells a bunch of cool stuff in his shop. You should already finished his previous quest line in the first few acts, but now we can craft Kuku Pot. It's pretty easy, it's just iron and timber, we should already have a bunch of this, but also there's small batteries, and I got loads of them right now, and it can craft me Kuku Spear. But first of all we need to craft Kuku Pot. Now to craft Kuku Lightning Spear I will need Kuku Pot that I already have, but also I need to find Lightning Spear, small batteries and electrical component. Oh my goodness, lots of work, guys. I decided to look for items that I need in this location in Mount Banos, because I was all here already. And I found a bunch of steampunk enemies in this location that is powered by electricity, so it's a smart idea to try to defeat him, and maybe we will get what we need. Actually, one of the components that I need is dropped from these big fellas, and that's very nice that we got insanely powerful spear right now, and we can do this powerful attack or even range attacks with basic R2. Destroy 3 of them in one single combination, and they dropping these big stones. These stones is pretty easy acquirable if you got Kuku Pot, because now we can basically use this big clone them and vacuum them inside our Kuku Pot. Yeah, it's special items, and that's how you can acquire them. Then I went to this location near Perlun. It looks like that's basic bandit camp in the forest, but after destroying bandits and fully clearing this camp, I looked closely at my surroundings. And guess what? That's the spear we looked for, Lightning Spear. This Lightning Spear is pretty awful, because it's one-time use. Yeah, you can attack it and it goes on cooldown instantly. That's why I went back to Grimnir and then I crafted Lightning Spear. On surface it's not insanely amazing weapon, since we can't add sockets to it. And it was really disappointing to find out, because now I won't be able to use special abilities with this weapon. However, but I found out that I can actually craft fortification for defense or aegis for damage reduction, and it sounds amazing. Since I need just a little bit easily craftable resource, and then I can use synthesis to combine bunch of them and upgrade level. Materials that I need is pretty basic and I already know where to farm them pretty fast. While farming, to not waste time, I decided to visit this research temple over here. After completing a bunch of research tasks from main researcher, I was able to gather enough knowledge to do my research. And it just takes a little bit of silver and a little bit of time, where I just farm to craft abyss cells. And after finishing all researches, I finally able to unlock power of a life. Or in more simple words, upgrade my health to maximum. And then I just crafted bunch of fortifications, bunch of aegis, abyss gears, and combined all of them together to upgrade into fortification 2 and then fortification 3. By doing this, I basically flipping numbers on my defense. I go from 14 to 41 instantly, because every defense level 3 adds 9 defense. Maybe defense is the king, but I decided to add damage reduction to my gloves and boots. Then upgraded my gear as much as I could at blacksmith shop, and here we are, 116 defense after refinement. That's just broken. Let's try our new Kuku Spear and new build in action, that's what I thought. And the build is just amazing. We strike lightning like a true Thor, and basically enemies are just melted in seconds. At the same time, we're taking almost zero damage from all basic enemies, and even from bosses we don't care about their damage almost at all. That's just crazy. Still, this Kuku Spear got some cooldown on its lightning attack, so I decided to switch it every now and then, but it comes really handy when you can't play as your main character and you're forced to play as your secondary characters in a story, so you can equip the spear on them, and it's insanely powerful and helps at these parts. In other situations, I just use basic upgraded spear and it's just insane. Still, even against powerful bosses, I'm using Kuku Spear, and this lightning spear doing insane damage. Yeah, I probably said insane like hundreds of times in this video, but it really is. And if you're leaving a like and a comment for this video, you're also insane. Thank you for watching, and if you're enjoying Crimson Desert, make sure to subscribe, because there's a bunch of funny and cool builds coming soon when I beat the game with this build, since it's basically finished and I'm having a blast. I'm right now on the last act. See you soon, guys!